Welcome, guys. Welcome back for another week of Galaxy Radio. As you guys know, we do this weekly. This is week number 28. We have a very fun guest today, CoinPost. They are hosting the WebX conference in Tokyo in July 25th and 26th. Some very exciting stuff. We're going to talk mostly about that today. But if you guys have any questions, obviously, as you guys know, for CoinPost, you guys can ask them in the chat. So we'll be chatting in the Galaxy Radio, like in call chat. You guys obviously know, I see you guys chatting in there. So yeah, any questions you guys have, we can pick a few out, obviously, as the discussion goes along as usual. Not a problem, guys. But yeah, very fun guest today. Obviously, as you guys know, the usual format, we have the AMA section, which usually just lasts around about half the call hour. And then I'll stay on with you guys. We'll chat about, our Galaxy community, some different things. And then obviously we'll close out for the day. But we will go the whole hour. First half is with our guest, Mark from CoinPost. So without further ado, of course, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Mark, how are you doing today? Feel free to give an intro to yourself, what you do with CoinPost and, how you got into Web3.
Hey, thanks for having me. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, you sound good.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here. I'm originally from the UK, but I moved to Japan about 5 years ago.
Very cool.
Thank you very much. I started out as a software engineer, and then I got into crypto quite early. But I did the same thing I think everyone didn't really know what Bitcoin was. Like, I used to go to these websites where, like, if you watch 50 adverts, you've got like 1 Bitcoin, and then you're like, oh my God, it was
Oh,
like
wow.
it was
Yeah.
like $1, and then you go online and with 10 of them, you can be like, oh, I could buy this cool thing.
Yep.
So I should have held, but didn't. And then so then I moved to Japan, did various things. Obviously, COVID was a really big problem, I think, for everybody. So I decided to try and go full time in Web3. So I started to do Twitter Spaces and join with communities. I started an NFT project, but that still hasn't launched yet. And then the guy that I work with and also live with, we live in a share house, got me the job at CoinPost. And I've been there about 5 months now in the global marketing team.
Wow, that's cool. So how did you feel like in the, obviously in the process of, you said originally you were a software developer. What was kind of the switch that made you more interested in marketing side of things rather than developing?
Oh, good question, actually. So, if there's any other software engineers in here, you might know, like, a lot of software companies are quite, like, the atmosphere is, it's just not really that great, and I
Hmm.
didn't really, like, I have the type of personality where I want to socialize, I want to speak to people. So then when I was on Twitter Spaces with people, I realized, yeah, this is the community that I want. People DMing me like, "Are you okay? Let's jump on a space," and just talking to people, and that variety of meeting everyone as opposed to just sat, typing Python code for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That was kind of I feel like many of us have the same kind of like awakening when it came to crypto in particular. So where you kind of start and you obviously you're getting involved and you kind of one thing happens or you get involved in one space, you're like, wow, this is definitely, I'm more interested in this. I feel like the COVID thing was kind of a blessing at the same time. So but yeah, that's really cool. And so moving to Japan is obviously a huge shift. Was this something you thought about for a long period of time, or was it more of like a spur of the moment, or?
So yeah, kind of a bit of both. So I'm a bit of an anime weeb. So I've
Very
always been
cool. Yeah, I'm a
like,
big fan too.
nice. Oh, we should definitely compare anime later.
Of
Um,
course.
so yeah, a bit of an anime weeb, and again, I used to work all the time and go on like little holidays with friends. And then just before COVID happened, actually, I was like, right, I'm gonna just go to Japan. So I spoke to my manager, and he gave me 6 weeks holiday, but it was like kind of like part remote work, part not. So I came to Japan for 6 weeks and traveled around, and then I went back to my job in England and was like, I really love Japan and I think I want to be there full time. Um, so they initially agreed that I could go and work remotely, like a bit of a pay decrease, etc. But that was fine because I got to do something amazing. But then when COVID happened, they were like, no, we can't, we're closing down our office and like we can't pay for someone to work overseas. So
Oh wow.
I had to jump into English teaching actually to get a visa. So
Oh yeah, that's a very common way that I knew a guy as well that I used to work with like right when I was like fresh out of school who was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go teach English, and he's still there now. So
yeah, I mean, like I did a lot of research before I came. Well, I say a lot. I actually moved in about 4 months after going back to England, but I heard some like bad stories, and everyone was like, "Oh no, all this happens, and they treat you like terrible, and the pay's terrible." But honestly, I loved it. I never did teaching before. It was a completely new experience for me. Not only did I learn so much about Japanese culture from the kids being willing just to teach me stuff that you would never learn in a classroom.
yeah.
I got to meet some also amazing people. The teachers were really cool. The school principal she was like I think she was my spirit animal in Japan because she'd be like, "Oh, I can't be seen to be drinking because I'm a school principal and I've got to look cool." But then she'd message me later and be like, "We've all gone to a bar around the corner. Come
Oh
join us."
my
I'm
God. That's it. That sounds so fun. It's definitely a scary thing, but I feel like obviously with Japanese culture, it can be very like insider, outsider. But I feel like at the same time, there's so many welcoming people these days that going to these different even just for like longer visits is such a rewarding experience for anybody, in my opinion. So,
Oh, 100%.
um,
And I every time I've traveled a lot. I'm quite lucky enough that I have. I urge everyone to travel. And yeah, Japan, it does have a bit of that insider outsider stuff, but the the good stuff you get here, like for example, I was trying to find a comic book. There was this like lovely family who owned an izakaya, which is like a small bar restaurant near the house I lived in. And that it was their son's birthday, and he really loved Doraemon manga. So I wanted
oh
to buy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to a local shop and they didn't have it. And the guy closed the store. And I'm using Google Translate this whole time because I didn't know any Japanese then. He closed his entire store to take me like 2 blocks away to ask this other store if they had it, and they did. And you just
That's
wouldn't get that anywhere
incredible.
else. So
No, you don't get, yeah, I genuinely believe you don't get that level of but like service or respect or it's crazy. Yeah, to close your store.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not possible where I live, so that would be crazy.
Where are you from?
Um, I'm in Canada. So we are very like I would say definitely there's a lot of politeness and respect from a lot of people here, but in like a customer to like businesses, I would say sense, but it's also very just like North America. So like everything's very cut and dry. Like let's get the work done. So moments like that, I feel like are very hard to find. So,
Cool.
but yeah, I do love Canada. So I've done a fair bit of traveling myself, but I haven't had a moment where I was like, oh, I have to live here. So
Hmm.
right now Canada's still my number one spot. So,
I've
but
never been to Canada. I've got a lot of friends from there, and I've had a few friends who have gone to. Is it called Banff, like a ski resort? Like they
yep,
did like.
I actually live like 30 minutes from Banff.
Oh God, the scenery must be beautiful.
Yeah, it's very nice to look at. That's the one thing that you never get tired of is yeah, like I like to ski, right? So like I drive for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and it's like there it is, right?
Yeah.
It's genuinely beautiful. Yeah, I really do love it here for sure. If you ever get the chance to visit, yeah, you need to go to Banff. It is a beautiful, oh man, it will change your opinions for sure. You'll be like, this might be the best spot.
It's on my list to go. So yeah, thanks.
Let's see. Love Banff. My brother lives there. Oh, that's cool, Icy Fresh. He lives pretty close to me. Then. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Yeah. Also, sorry. All right, let's dive right into it, guys. And yeah, feel free, of course, guys, to ask your questions in the chat as well.
And
Um, I,
I'm quite an open book, so you can ask anything actually. So it is an AMA. Go ahead, do your worst. I mean, I won't
of
answer
course,
anything too personal or gross, but yeah.
no problem at all. So let's start with CoinPost and WebX that I mentioned towards the beginning. Can you give us
Yeah.
the rundown of, CoinPost, how you guys are operating, what you guys are up to, and also just the general rundown of the WebX conference?
Yeah, so CoinPost is Japan's largest crypto and blockchain media outlet. So most of the news, I really hope no one's from my companies in here. We're kind of like Cointelegraph, but the Japanese version. And I really,
Oh,
no one DMs me in a minute, but like, don't compare us to Cointelegraph. But yeah, so we're just a news company, and then I work for the global marketing side, so we're branching out to global. So my job at CoinPost is I get to interview like all these amazing, cool top projects, and we have like a GM radio space, um, and like we get to do loads of research, and then like reach out to them, and they come on, and we just talk to them about what they're doing, and then through the amalgamation of both of those, we've created WebX, which is going to be Asia's largest Web3 conference.
mm,
I think we're aiming to get about 15,000 people, 200 plus speakers. We have the Prime Minister of Japan who is going to do like a
that is
video.
insane.
Yeah, we've got like Roger Ver from Bitcoin and Yuga Labs, Dan, I always get his name wrong, Allegre, Daniel Allegre, the
I
CEO.
think so, yeah.
Yeah, and also, which I'm personally excited about, is we've got I always get the name wrong, and in Japanese, the wrong name it means like ugly child. So I'm trying to remember the right
Oh,
name. I
no.
think it's called Kabosu. That's the name of the actual dog from Dogecoin. So every time you see that dog in Dogecoin, that's a real dog that's coming to the conference. So
Yes.
quite excited to see
Wait,
that.
coming to the conference?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
Almost
I'm
like a dog.
I'm so jealous I'm not going now. Man. No, that's cool. That's really awesome. It is so the process for WebEx, obviously, how long has that been kind of in amalgamation? Was it such a like multi-year experience in the process of like the first one? Or when you joined, is it more of like it's already been in lieu, like we're planning this, it's ready to go?
Oh yeah, so when I joined, it was already in the works. So I don't know how long they've been working on it. I think maybe about 9 months to a year. But this is the first one. Yeah, so it's gonna be epic.
Yeah, no, it is the first one.
Yes, it is the first
Okay,
one.
okay, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it had been a multi-year thing, but no, thank you for that. No, that's very exciting. The first one is also it's exciting, but also incredibly stressful, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, from what I've seen and what I've looked up beforehand, obviously, it's looking very cool. And before we continue on with the next question, I do want everybody to know that Galaxy will actually have a booth at WebEx, so this would be very cool and very exciting. So if you guys, any listeners are in Japan and going to the WebEx conference, you guys can come say hi to our team. That we will be at booth D3. So a little shout out to us, of course, but thank you for that. But yeah, guys, so go check out our booth if you get the chance.
Yeah.
So before we get into a little more things here, we have a question from Alex Gadd here. So Mark, you say you kind of have been working on semi in this process with the creation of WebEx. You said it kind of comes together from what you're working on with these different interviews and et cetera. Like these are becoming guests or
Yeah, so I mean, we have so we use a team, an external team too, that help us
Mhm.
find speakers. I think they're the same team that like plan consensus and everything else. Um, so it's kind of 50-50. Like we've found a lot of the Japanese side, and the global team have found a lot of the Western side, and then we've had this other
Oh,
external team,
cool.
the speakers. So I mean, one of the things I will say is the most difficult thing is like obviously because we're in Japan, the time zone's completely different. So
Yeah.
it's definitely like a sporadic working hour kind of thing. But I mean, honestly, my company is really cool. They're really chill. Like everyone is really laid back. They're actually really fun to work with, which is such a breath of fresh air, especially in coming from a tech background.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone works really hard, but we also like to party really hard too.
Yeah, I think that is the crypto effect. At least I'd like to think it is because like myself too, like when I joined Galaxy, I was like employee number 11, I think, but I was like also like uh, one North American employee among like 10 other like just mainland China employees. So it was like you know, obviously when you join something like this, right, and it's you know very different people in a different place, you're thinking like, oh man, what if I can't connect with them, etc. Or and I think that in crypto it just becomes so much easier. Like everybody has a more similar mindset. I would say even in just like from marketing to developers. The biggest thing that I learned so quickly, like working in the space, was like, wow, these people I can have this connection with, even though I'm from such a different place, right?
Yeah,
And that, yeah, and I think that's just been like super, super amazing. But yeah, like you mentioned, the time zone is completely uh very different. So that has to be, I would say, like one of the tougher things as well for myself, considering you know, obviously we work with so many different partners, right? Like right now for me, it was 6 a.m. when this started, but I'm not sure what time it was for you, if you don't mind me asking.
yeah, no, it's fine. It was 9 p.m. when we started.
Ah, okay, yeah, six for me, but I get used to doing it at these times now because we want to get the best amount of viewership, but
Yeah,
everybody is so many different places, right? That the only way we can reach as many viewers as possible and get the as many guests as possible if we kind of stick it within like my 5 a.m. to my 9 a.m. timeline. So sometimes I'm getting up at 4 a.m., but
uh,
um,
yeah, I've done a couple of like 1 a.m. Radio spaces before, just because speakers have been somewhere
yep.
random.
I'm willing to, you know, yeah, you do it a few times a week. It's, you know, it's a one-off stay. It's, yeah, you know, and I enjoy getting this chance to like chat with different people around the world. It's just a fun experience.
Yeah.
And so we do actually have a question from someone in the chat, from Alex Cat. He's kind of our most frequent question asker, so you might actually get a few more from him. So Alex is curious on kind of how, you know, with WebEx and the creation of WebEx, how you guys kind of ensure that you guys remain, um, you know, the information remains relevant and valuable to seasoned industry professionals and also newcomers. Like, who would you say that this conference is more so for? Can you be a, you know, fresh walk in and kind of feel like you can get an understanding, or would you say it's more for seasoned professionals and developers?
Oh, very good question. So from my understanding of WebEx, and I really hope it aligns with my company, Japan is, I don't know if anyone knows, but it's kind of like on this weird fence with like regulation standards right now and
Yeah.
kind of future it wants. So it's the hope of WebEx is going to be filled with everyone from students to CEOs to VCs. And the aim of it is that well, this is my analogy. I think WebEx wants to bridge the gap between Western, Web3 projects and influence coming into Japan, which is quite a hard market to get into, without anything anyway. So from that, we're trying to connect speakers to companies and projects to other projects around the world and VCs to
Mhm.
everybody. So the way I mentioned it before, and I was a bit drunk, so that it might at the time, so it might sound a bit
No
wrong, but I
problem.
said WebEx hopefully will be the airport into which every Western or yeah, just every other country flies into Japan into the Web3 scene. So
No,
like
I
you
like
have
that.
LAX, we have like WebEx.
Yeah,
I
no, I
know.
like that. I like that a lot. Also, the name is great. WebEx is such a cool name for a conference. That's my favorite name so far, for sure.
I can't.
Um,
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
uh,
I'm joking.
I would have believed you too. You could have tricked me, but no, I mean, like for the most part, it's the usual is let's just, you know, slap an ETH in front of it, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I like the more creative names. That's very fun. So we actually do have another question from someone in the audience that I think is a pretty good question.
Okay.
And you can answer this from the perspective of you know, working it with CoinPost. You can also answer this from the perspective of yourself as well. So Robin Hood, glad to have you back. Appreciate the question. Wants to know how you navigate the gray line between Web3 freedom and content censorship. So sort of like that kind of balance between Web2 and Web3, where obviously we want to be more open in Web3, but you know, there is always kind of that you know, I would say like peaking thing of content censorship as we go along.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And obviously, primarily CoinPost is a media outlet. So we also have to be
Yeah.
extremely careful that we don't seem like we're favoring one project or the other. So that goes through a huge review process all the time. Luckily, I'm not part of that team. So the
Of
way that
course.
I can't comment on how my company do it because there's a lot of, I mean, there's still a lot of Japanese culture that I don't really get in business terms. So luckily, I don't have to deal with that. I'm in the global team. The way that I do it is like I don't on my personal profiles and stuff, I just don't say that I work at CoinPost and I don't promote too much stuff from them because I like that I got into Web3 to talk to people and speak my mind and I don't ever want that to affect my company. So, I just try to keep my personal side and my work side separate. And when it comes to work, I pretty much just do what I'm required to do. And it's other people higher above me, like they moderate what can be posted and who I speak to and that kind of thing. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, I understand, of course. Yeah, it is an interesting line that I think we all have to take into account because at the same time, we work with so many different partners and projects, and yeah, we want to have a fair, open platform for all. And yeah, obviously sometimes it can it can seem like things are favored, but we do try to be fair to everyone as well. That's just using the Galaxy platform in general and make the best service we can for everybody.
and it's a
Um,
good step, by the way. If anyone, I've got to admit, like having a fully fledged package that can really help someone market on so many levels,
mhm.
especially for like, excuse me.
No worries,
Um,
no worries.
a lot of like there's a lot of, especially in Web3, and this is just again my personal observation, but I meet so many amazing projects, but they don't have any marketing sense or any business sense, and they don't know how
Yeah.
to go forward. So to have something like Galxe that has these campaigns and everything they can put together and basically just like turbocharge their social media is amazing, and we use it all the time. So thank you guys for this amazing product.
No, thank you for using us all the time. We appreciate it greatly. Yeah, it's been a very long ride. It's really cool to see a lot of the fun and creative campaigns that come out and kind of
Hmm.
hope to bridge that gap where someone might not be sure on how to grow a community or market better and help just be that tool, right? So thank you so much for that shout out there. So let's go into the next question from my side, and we'll go back to the chat in a little bit here. I know we have a couple things I wanted to ask you about today as well. You listed a few of these questions, but I'd also written my own questions, but they were kind of pretty much the same. So
Oh, nice.
um, so when it comes to obviously Japan, WebEx, Japan, you mentioned Japan towards the beginning as well. This amazing place that it is. Why do you think Japan is the place to be for Web3, and why should people come? Why WebEx? Why Japan?
Oh, interesting. Well, so yeah, as you said about Japan, I recommend everyone to travel. I think I saw this amazing quote once when I was in Germany. Someone had spray painted on a wall that just said, "Don't leave the world. Don't leave the telling of the world up to everybody else. Go and see it for yourself." And I saw that when I was like 17, and I just thought ever since then I've always been like, yeah, I want to go and travel these places. And Japan is so vastly different in the culture, and it's actually you do get a bit of culture shock, and it's sometimes I'm not going to lie, some things are tough and sometimes some things are easy,
Of
but by
course,
pushing yourself into these situations, you learn to change and grow, and like there's things that I've understood that I thought were like the way the world works, and you come to Japan, you're like, oh no, it's so different. And then when I go back to England, I think, okay, this is how I've been treated in Japan. Am I doing this to someone in the UK that they might not understand? And it really makes you like think about yourself. So on the Japan side, yep, go and travel for Web3 side in Japan. So, Japan has had a rocky history. It had Mount Gox and a few other setbacks, and they are still going through the regulatory stuff right now, and that stuff's trying to be panned out. But the fact is, they are one of the only countries that have, like, the current Labour Party, the LDP, sorry, the political party, the LDP, have created a Web3 white paper, and they've outlined everything ranging from like creating visas for NFT businesses, support for financial institutions to get into Web3. They have a whole team trying to like figure out security audits, and they want to look into DAOs, into running things autonomously. Like, so it might be a bit slow to start, but they're really, really going to push for it. And I think now is the time to get into Japan and Asia because I mean, I don't mean this in any offense, but I feel like America are doing things the wrong way, and Asia seems to be doing a completely different way and just excelling in it. So
No, I agree when you say America is doing it the wrong way.
Oh, good. I was a bit nervous
So
about saying
no,
that.
no, that's okay. I've even been disappointed with Canada as well, you know, with just so many different changes in regulation. And now even um, in September, I lose access to Binance now, sadly, because since they
Oh,
pulled out of Canada, yeah. So just because so many different regulations that aren't in line with that, so it's yeah, it
yeah,
sucks, but it is what it is, and you know, I'll continue to participate regardless because I do believe in it, right? What we're doing, so that is
yeah,
cool though. I'm very interested in understanding and learning more about. I try to keep in tune with all of the different changes and regulations and kind of the hotspots, but it is very tough to keep in tune with all of it as well.
yeah.
So.
Even for me,
Um,
I work in media, like there's just too much information. So
Yeah, there's a lot, and you mentioned as well, and this there was a few questions in chat about this as well. With you know, you mentioned that I believe you said the Prime Minister is coming to the WebEx conference.
yeah, well, so he's going to do a video address. So he's recorded a video. So he won't be there in person, sadly. But
Ah,
yeah,
okay, okay.
but this
No,
is the first.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's in the video, or are you able to give us a
Nope.
hint? Or oh, okay, okay.
It's gonna be a complete surprise
Um,
for all of us
but
too.
would you say that, you know, WebEx, you know, a goal is to kind of help kind of, you know, promote this, you know, positively in a sense that the government can't see? I mean, especially if the prime minister himself is giving even a video message, right?
Yeah. So, um, as I mentioned before, like my team are actually really cool people, and in Web3 you get a lot of sad to say, you get a lot of projects that don't really care about community or pushing forward Web3, but everyone in my team is focused on trying to make Japan the place that they want, because most of them are Japanese and they want this future. So they're really
Mhm.
pushing as Japanese people to get this to happen. So that's why they're reaching out to government officials. That's why they're doing WebEx. They're trying to really make it, like a whole event where they're like, look, we're not going to go away. This is what we're going to do. You guys need to adopt and change the system for us. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, a very direct approach then for sure. That's very cool. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to see what happens, and you know, if hopefully if this is a year to year thing, maybe I can come to the next one. So that could be very
Well,
cool.
I mean, hit me up next year and I'll get you a free ticket.
Thank you very much. Yes, I will remember that, of course. I actually was hoping to go to Japan next summer. So,
Oh, nice.
um, yeah, depending on the time, obviously. I have a very large dog who is still growing up. So I told myself, I was like, I won't go anywhere until he's fully big. So,
You're from Canada, so you might be okay, but a lot of people come to Japan this summer and they don't realize how hot it gets. So like last summer we had like 42 degrees with 90% humidity. It was a
oh,
nightmare.
wow.
But
Yeah,
they have like these
no.
like really cool things you can buy. Like they have these like menthol wipes that like you just rub on yourself and then it cools you
Oh,
down.
cool.
These like jelly drinks,
That's
frozen.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, where I live, it's like most of the year it's cold. So it's yeah, I don't do too well with heat. I went to Barcelona and it was like I was like, Jesus, it's hot. And it was during like their winter, so yeah. But
Yeah.
so let's go back into the questions portion. So yeah, obviously, yeah, talking about you know, WebEx overall and you know some of the different you know things that'll be going on, you know, plans, chats, discussions. This kind of links in with my question as well as, you know, Alex's question in the chat. What would you say are some of the key outcomes and impacts, you know, that WebEx is hoping to achieve, you know, after this conference?
Oh, so again, limited experience because I'm quite new to the company, but from what I can
No
tell, they're
worries.
interested in fostering relationships with the Web3 community in Japan and also helping bridge the gap between the Western Web3 community and the Japanese/Asian community. So we've seen that a lot with like a lot of our employees, a lot of my colleagues, sorry, like, they already go to these meetups and they meet all these other people before they even join CoinPost.
Hmm.
Um, when we have this event, we're arranging interviews for people to speak to these other VCs and these people from CEOs, and we're trying to we're trying to make the panels in the conference really informative so that Web2 companies in Japan can see how Web3 companies in other places with the same industry are doing it and what solutions they're having. So I think the outcome is, yeah, to kind of like foster relationships, bridge the gap, and move Web3 forward faster in Japan.
No, yeah, I really like the discussion around bridging the gap between sort of the Western and Asia, because the biggest thing that I've noticed myself, and I'm not sure if obviously, I think that the audience with Asia is obviously larger. I'm like 90% sure on that. But I really feel like there's just a massive disconnect where, for the most part, like through my journey in this and talking with people and going to conferences and being mostly I would say primarily online is the most people that I interact with are actually just not in North America. So I want to see more of that coming together, right? I want to see these communities coming together, and it's a big part of why it was got into the community side of things myself. Was I really like just the idea of different people around the world connecting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I very much align with that goal of bridging that gap. So that's very exciting because I really do feel like we're just on two different sides of a wall that just we have not broken down yet. So
Yeah, and I
um,
think the I always say on my Twitter Spaces, like Web3 it's a mindset movement.
mhm.
It's taking people that have the same kind of idea but maybe not the skills, connecting them regardless of where they are, and providing this transparent platform where everything can be done, safely and openly, and hopefully with the aim of making the world a better place, which might seem like a big dream, but I mean, the world's only going to change if we make the movements now.
I very much agree. It's going to be a tough ball to roll, but as long as it keeps rolling, right? That's going to
Yeah.
be the biggest thing as we go forward. Um, yeah, no, I'm big on that too. I want to onboard the next 1 billion, right? So it's going to be
Yeah.
tough, but yeah, we've got such massive platforms these days, and like even in like such a poor market, I think everybody has been doing so well in the building process that it's just gotten me even more excited for obviously when the next bull market rolls around and everything kind of gets even more excitement and kind of blows up even further. And those guys in North America, the people over here that are kind of on the fence, I would say more so, we can dip them into the pool and get them swimming. So that'll be
So
very
if
fun.
you're excited about that kind of stuff, like when Japan anime actually gets into NFTs and IP,
Oh
it's
man, yeah,
gonna change the world. Like there was a recent report by the anime market of Japan. I can't remember who it was in the
yeah,
industry, and I think currently it's valued at something like $30 billion, the anime market IP alone, and that's around the world, and Japan retains that. And when they did the report, it shows that like I think it was 59.5%
wow,
of Japanese people, they collect NFTs to hold, not to sell, not to flip. They want to hold because they believe in like being part of something, and they believe in helping creators and keeping communities going. So
yeah.
yeah, when the anime market opens up, IPs that goes on chain, that's going to change everything. And there's a
If
few. Sorry, carry on.
no worries. I'll let you continue. It's like if there's one thing I know, it's like anime fans are just like diehards. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
especially with things like One Piece or Naruto, for example. Like One Piece, I know like oh my God, the fans are like
yeah,
they will live and die for it. So
yeah.
I very much please continue on the point you were finishing off on though.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say when they do it, it's gonna be like the next Pokemon revolution, I think. But
Yeah.
imagine if Pokemon did an NFT. Wow.
Yeah, I feel yeah, I can't I'm excited for that next bull market because I really do. I'm also not excited because I know there's going to be a lot of crap obviously, but we have to sift through it, right? You have to push through the money grabbers and then find the proper ones. So, yeah.
100%. And that's why I started doing my Twitter spaces because I see, unfortunately, so I used to be really big on a game called Axie, and I had this whole community on my Discord, and
Yeah,
we were
I was a
but
fan as well.
so many of them got hacked, and there were scams out there, and that just angers me. And I mean, like, I will have to go for a walk when I hear one of my friends has been like, rug pulled or drained, because it triggers me so much that people still treat each other like this. Like, people are angry, I get it, and we hate governments and that kind of stuff. Fine, take your anger out on them. I'm not saying start a riot, guys. Just to clarify.
Of
But we
course, no
should be
worries.
connected to each other, and the idea of Web3 is that we come together and we help each other and we all succeed. So hopefully the next bull run, a lot of these rug pulls have dropped off, and people are more aware now. People have more security knowledge, and hopefully that's with each bull run, I think we're going to get better and better.
No, I agree. And a big part of it is media as well. There's a lot of good that goes on, but stuff like that isn't talked about in like the overall media, I would say, like the regular media. So what
Mm.
people see when they look at crypto in a bull run is, oh, look at all these scams.
Yeah,
And it just turns people off, right? It makes them not interested. It kind of starts this, I would say, like snowball of negativity that people just
yeah,
want to kind of jump onto, and then that's the thing, right? You get stuck in this mindset of like, I hate this thing, right? Like I hate NFTs, I hate crypto, but they don't actually know about it. They only
yeah.
know what they've seen on the news, like and whatever, right? So it's kind of made this like barrier harder to break long term, but yeah, like you mentioned, I think bull run after bull run, it's gonna happen. So it will be very tough though.
And
Um,
like not to get like too deep here, but just a warning to like everybody, like always be careful what you read. Like there's an
of
old
course.
adage which says was it if it bleeds, it reads, and that means like news articles that are about negativity or war, like that stuff stands out because we have a part of our brain called the reticular system, or is controlled by like our fight and flight response. Like it's trained to find these dangers that possibly affect us, right? So we're instantly drawn to them, and like
Mhm.
newspapers, like they employ psychologists to figure out like how to write these things. It's not just one person writing. Like they have all these tips and tricks to get you to buy their newspaper, and they jump on the negativity, and that's all they promote. What I do recommend to some people is like I just Google all the time like Web3 for good or Bitcoin projects that have done good in the world, and I just start to look at the stuff that people are doing behind the scenes, and I'm like, oh wow, this is actually amazing. Yes, people are using the technology right.
No, yeah, I agree, and I think that I want to see more positive news posts. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just the biggest thing. Is like it's a lot of negativity day in day out, right? And sometimes it's tough to just continually kind of ride that wave. So you really do have to take your own effort to look outside of all the negativity and find the good stuff. And I find that like doing even these calls weekly, right? Because we've done like 28 weeks of this, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think I've had a guest for all pretty much every single one. So, but
Oh,
usually in the end section, which we'll actually close out in a few minutes here, but I'll give you one last question or two. Um, but yeah, I do a bit of just research on the landscape itself, and in that process, I've been able to find so many good things. So it's been a very uplifting time as well as I spend lots of time researching. So
awesome.
yeah, I very much agree with you there. So let's go out to the end section of today. So you're going to be at WebEx, right? Yourself?
Yes. So there's going to be, I mean, I'll pretty much be everywhere because I think they'll send me around
Of course.
everywhere. But we have a booth ourselves, so we host like a weekly radio thing called GM Radio, which has been a bit lax recently because we're really busy with the conference.
Of
But I'll
course.
be interviewing, like the CEO of Yuga Labs and a few other top people at this booth live at the conference. So you'll
That's
probably
very
catch.
cool. I'm very jealous of that. That's gonna be a fun one. If
Well,
that
yeah,
is live, I need to check the link for that so I can watch. That'd be very
sweet.
cool. Yeah, what obviously I think my last question for you is what's got you most excited for the conference? Is it the interview? Is it the overall atmosphere? Is there any particular event you're excited for? Any speakers you're excited for, obviously besides yourself? So,
Well, yeah. So I mean, I'm excited to meet all the speakers, especially like Yuga Labs and Roger there from Bitcoin.com, and a few other people. I don't want to just choose one and then later they're like, "Why didn't you mention me?"
of course,
Um,
it's Galaxy you're most excited to
yeah,
meet, right? The Galaxy
yeah, yeah,
team.
exactly. That's it. Yeah, and but I think the thing I'm really looking forward to the most is just having it like going and then being like, wow, I was part of the team that built this and made this work, and I can already imagine being in that moment of just being like, this is epic, like, and just running with it. And I've been to a few Web3 conferences, and you're always like a little bit lost, and you're like, oh, where's the next room? Where's the party? But I'm going to be the one that
Yeah,
people come to, so I'm going to be, everyone's going to worship me there, so it's going to be
of
great.
course. Yep. Yeah, that's like yeah, because like every conference there's like a million events, and the last few that I went to, it was like harder. The last, which one did I go to last? Oh yeah, it was Austin. And then I was also in the NFT NYC. NFT NYC, the event, it was just maybe New York is complicated, but yeah, I very much in the conferences in Europe that I did go to were very well organized. The events were very like publicized very well, but I feel like it was not publicized as well in North America. But still very fun regardless. Yeah, and with that, I just want to thank you for coming on today, Mark. This was
No
a
problem.
super fun discussion. I very much feel that you know you're going to do very well continuing in Japan. I know you obviously been working with CoinPost for only 5 months, but yeah, yeah, I have a lot of respect for that big move that you took. So thank you for that, and thank you for coming on today. And I
Thank you.
appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. And I'm excited for the Galaxy booth at WebEx. I'm excited for WebEx. I'm excited for what you guys do for the rest of the year. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And very quickly, I mean, I'll probably get murdered if I don't say this, but
Of course.
people can get the 50% discount off tickets if they get the Galxe out that you guys are running.
Yes.
Information's on there, and hopefully see you guys at WebEx. Come and say hello. I'm actually a lot friendly and less nervous in person.
No
Um,
problem.
yeah, please come and say hello if any of you guys attend.
No, I hope that yeah, I was hoping that this would be a easier call for you. You didn't want to stress out. I know it's tough being the guest sometimes, so I also get a bit nervous when I'm the guest as well. Like, you know, I've done like a million of these, right? So
By the way, if you want
um,
to add me on Twitter, that my username is the same. So yeah, drop me a message on Twitter. I mean, you
of
have my
course.
Telegram. Yeah, I was gonna say DM me on
Yes,
Telegram, and
of course.
we can yeah,
Thank you
cool.
so much. I appreciate you. Have a nice day. Feel free to head out for now. I'm gonna stay on until the hour is finished, obviously, so everybody that's listened in for the allotted time can claim their
No, I'm
oats later.
gonna
So,
stay and listen, bro. I'm gonna listen to you.
oh no, we're gonna cover some. Usually the guest leaves completely, so now I'm nervous, but
No, a little bit of solidarity. Gotta look after each
yeah,
other.
of course. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, feel free to either head out for the day or I guess if you'd like, join in the audience. We're just going to talk about some different Galaxy community updates and stuff like that. So
Awesome. Look forward to it. Thank you.
thank you so much.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Okay, okay. Thank you guys for listening in. I want to thank Mark one more time. I want to thank CoinPost WebEx for the awesome event that's coming. Um, July 25th and 26th. Going to be some really cool stuff. Very exciting. I love these conferences. I love to see these things grow and evolve. Personally, I just love people coming together, as you guys know.